Ladies and gentlemen, we have yet more news in the deluge of PlayStation 4 Orbis rumours and speculation. This time coming at us that the PS4 will indeed be streaming certain games. An EA executive hypothesized that next-generation consoles would not be backwards compatible, and it does seem that this is the case. There are numerous reasons for this, but primarily it's the makeup of these new consoles. For example, the PlayStation 4 is going to be using a AMD core, which is exactly the same as the Durango version, by the way, and its relationship with the current generation system, in other words the PS3 and the PS4, in terms of the hardware specification, is at best tenuous, and it would be very, very difficult to write reliable emulation for those titles, as well as whether the consoles will even be powerful enough to reliably emulate it with full frame rate. So it's a good possibility that instead of this, the other option of course would be to actually put in some PS3 hardware into the system. However, that would then raise the price of the system. So Sony have recently purchased a cloud-based gaming company, Gaikai. So it's a good bet that the PS4 is going to be using this service in one way or another. So why are we relatively sure it's not going to be used for, say, streaming of PS4 games? You know, why can't the latest PS4 games be streamed? Well, it's actually a fairly simple reason, and it's not namely bandwidth. Now, OnLive, for example, can stream 720p at maximum, and even then you require a really good internet connection. And, well, to be close-ish to the server, in other words, latency becomes a problem. The closer you are to the server, the less latency, generally speaking, you're going to have. There are other concerns as well, such as what your Wi-Fi connection is if you're using that. You know, if anyone's downloading on your system or uploading, that type of thing obviously affects your network. So because of all of this, because the PS4's games are aimed to be 1080p and very good graphics and all of that, and obviously certain games you don't want latency in, and naturally it's a good bet that PS4 games are not going to be. On the other hand, there could be certain titles on the PSN store, for example slower moving titles, that possibly could feature this on third party. Who knows? That's pure speculation on my own part. Now obviously the PlayStation 4 hasn't been announced officially yet, but there is the upcoming press conference from Sony. That's on the 20th of this month. In Japan there is a business daily, Nikkei, and they have noted that the Gaikai will be involved in Sony's upcoming press conference on the 20th of February, so that's a good indication that we are going to be seeing something PlayStation related, and at the very least that there's going to be some mention of streaming involved. I'm very curious to see what Sony are going to be doing in terms of the press conference, specifically what games are going to be announced on launch. Obviously, the launch of a console is very difficult to get right, and generally speaking, there's always problems. For example, it could be that there aren't enough units at launch, it could be those units break down, it could be that there aren't very good games on launch. The issue varies. However, the PlayStation 4 is looking to be extremely complicated, and if it does actually have good cloud-based compatibility, I think that will alleviate a lot of these worries. For example, you could say trade in your PS3, and at least you know that, with relative certainty you're going to be able to have a good access to back catalogs of games. However, obviously for the most part this is still tenuous. And if you'll be able to, say, play with your friend who only has a PS3 and you're on PS4, let's say, for example, the new Tekken, let's say Tekken Tag 2, let's say your friend, Tom, is online playing his PS3 copy, whether you'll be able to play against him on your PS4 streaming, it's completely unknown right now. It's possible, after all, it is emulation, but, well, who the heck knows? Regardless, over the next few months we're going to be certainly seeing a lot on both the PlayStation 4 and Durango. Obviously Durango hasn't got a date tied to it right now. We obviously know about the 20th of February was likely going to be the PS4 announcement. It's going to be a certain kick in the balls if not. Microsoft haven't made any official announcement of when there's going to be a press conference, but we certainly don't think it's going to be too much after Sony's big announcement. After all, Microsoft certainly don't want Sony to steal too much thunder, and that's not good for business whatsoever. It's also possible that the share button is going to tie in very well with the cloud-based features. For example, I mentioned just yesterday on how the share button could likely be used to tie into, say, Facebook and share clips and so on, and no doubt with cloud-based gaming going to be a big thing. Who knows, for example, we might even be able to have cloud-based storage of, say, save files. Bear in mind that the cloud-based storage for your save games is currently available on PlayStation Plus. I believe it's 1 gigabyte, although my memory is a bit shaky on that. I know it used to be 100 and something megs. One thing is certain, and that's, well, that everyone's very anxious to see what Sony are going to be pulling out. No doubt Microsoft themselves are looking at it with bated breath, and this conference is going to be pretty darn huge, and I'm exceptionally excited to see what's going to be happening with it. Anyway, I think that just about covers everything in this particular video without risking to repeat myself. As usual, if you like the video, you can comment and, well, favourite it. That would be great. And if you could subscribe, that would be good too, as I'll be covering a lot of this stuff over the next few months, hopefully. And also, if you want to check out more of my Orbis stuff, then feel free to do so. I will be seeing you guys soon. Take care of yourselves and bye for now.